The all-new Suzuki Vitara is proving to be a bit of a hit for the Japanese brand, seemingly offering the right blend of styling, pricing and robustness to appeal to buyers. It's an expansive range too, with 3 engines on offer and pricing starting at just over 20 grand and ranging all the way up to the mid-30s. So essentially, your budget will dictate which Vitara you choose. But which do we think is the pick of the pack? The base model Vitara RTS manual starts at just $21,990 plus on-road costs, but we've got the automatic, which comes in at just under 24 grand. Even in this entry-level Vitara, you get a 7-inch media screen with satellite navigation and Apple CarPlay, which is better than plenty of competitor SUVs at this price point. It's not the greatest screen in terms of its display, and it can be a little slow to react, but it doubles as a monitor for the standard fit rear view camera, which is another plus for the Vitara. The cabin is a pretty bland environment. Function definitely wins over form in here, but it is one of the best in class for space. There's definitely more room in the second row in here than there is in a Mazda CX-3, for example, and the boot is bigger than some cars the next size up. Better take it for a spin. Under the bonnet is a naturally aspirated 1.6 litre 4-cylinder engine with 86 kilowatts of power and 156 Newton meters of torque. That's not a lot, but then if you consider that the base model Vitara only weighs 1,120 kilos, it is pretty astounding for the size of the car. It doesn't feel like it's struggling for grunt, although the engine is pretty noisy and it clearly likes a rev. It's better suited to city duties than the highway. At high speeds it can feel a bit breathless, particularly going up hills, but around town the 6-speed auto does a decent job of harnessing what power there is. At higher speeds the steering can be a little bit twitchy on centre, but around town it steers fine, dealing with roundabouts and the like without any hassle. The ride's decent too, coping with bumps and speed humps relatively well. Look, this is a pretty convincing little SUV for the price. I mean, if all-wheel drive isn't that important to you, you could do a lot worse. I'm just really interested to see whether the turbo petrol model has a bit more oomph. This mid-spec Vitara S Turbo certainly looks a bit sportier than the base model. You've got black alloy wheels, this model has the two-tone paint finish, and you've also got black highlights up front, including a new grille, black headlight inlays, and a more muscular front bumper. The engine may be smaller in terms of capacity, 1.4 litres compared to 1.6 in the base model, but that turbo adds plenty. Got 103 kilowatts of power and 220 Newton meters of torque. When you consider that the car only weighs 1,160 kilos, we're approaching power to weight ratios like a hot hatch. Tell you what, the drive experience in this Vitara S Turbo model is very different to the base model. There's plenty of torque here down low in the rev range, and although this version is front wheel drive, pretty sure the all-wheel drive version would pull pretty hard out of corners. It's pretty affordable too, at $28,990 for the front wheel drive model. The all-wheel drive model adds a hefty 4 grand. You'd have to want all-wheel drive pretty bad to justify that expense. I mean, this thing's handling everything just as well as the last car, although there is a little bit of torque steer under hard throttle. There probably isn't a better turbo petrol engine in this class. Honda and Mazda don't have drivetrains that offer this level of effortlessness. And not only that, it's one of the quickest small SUVs around. In terms of fuel use, there's hardly anything in it between the turbo and the base model, and the gearbox in the Vitara S offers more decisive shifts. There's paddle shifters as well if you want to pretend you're driving a hot hatch. That impressive turbo drivetrain does come at a cost though. 5 grand is plenty in this part of the market. In this spec level, you do get a few other niceties though, like auto headlights and wipers, LED headlights, leather seat trim with suede inserts, and keyless entry and push button start. All of those bits do add to the appeal of this model, and the Vitara S is arguing a pretty strong case. But wasn't Vitara one of those names that people associated with off-roading? You might have to find out with the diesel model. The diesel RTX model only comes in all-wheel drive, and we're in the bush, so we may as well find a dirt track. I thought the turbo petrol had plenty of torque, but this turbo diesel has an extra 100 Newton meters. That means 88 kilowatts and 320 Newton meters, which is plenty for a car of this size. And yes, the diesel is a little bit heavier than the petrol, but at 1,325 kilos, it's certainly not chubby. From the driver's seat, you can tell this has a different type of gearbox. It's a dual clutch, and the gear shifts are a little bit more noticeable at low speeds. There is a little bit of lag down low in the rev range, but once you hit about 2,000 RPM, it's pretty peppy. Now, that all-wheel drive system, if you want a serious small off-roader, you should probably consider the smaller Suzuki Jimny. But the all-wheel drive system in this car does have a few different options for different situations. Auto mode will decide whether you need front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive depending on the situation. Snow mode, well, that's best left for when you've got your skis on board, obviously. Sport mode is designed to make it feel a bit sportier, so you've got better traction through corners and the gearbox will hold on a little bit longer to gears. And lock mode is designed to ensure that you've got the torque you need on loose surfaces like sand or mud. This model is expensive though, at $35,990 plus on road costs. Probably going to have to weigh up whether you want to take it off-road and get it dirty or even potentially scratched, especially when you've got nice things like a big dual panoramic sunroof. It seems that there's something for everyone and every budget in the Vitara range. At the top end, the diesel model is impressive, but it's also expensive. At the bottom end, you've got a very competitive small SUV. And it's well priced and well equipped. It just doesn't have quite enough oomph. And that leaves us with our pick of the range, the Vitara S Turbo. It's got the right amount of guts, it's got the right amount of gear, and it's the one we'd pick if we were buying a Vitara.